right. Hey, y'all, it's me, your favorite pimp, Ty. Welcome to Lessons Learned from a Pimp, your favorite web series also. So today's lesson is all about lessons learned on leadership and entrepreneurship. So let's get into it, y'all. So, our guest for today is the visionary founder of Emergent Consultant Solutions LLC. I'm
Yes.
sorry. Malika Humphries. Welcome, Malika.
Thank you. Thank you. I first want to say thank you, Ty, for the opportunity to come and share lessons learned. Because this is what it's about, learning from others' mistakes and learning from others so that we can all get better and be better. So thank you for you taking on that big journey to lead this and guide us there. So again, I'm Malika Humphries with Emerging Consulting Solutions. We deploy high-performing teams on opportunities, services, and solutions. One of the things that's really key to me is if you have something, give it. If you need something, ask for it. And that's what partnership is about.
Yeah.
You're not a one-man team, not an island to yourself. So I built a whole product around partnering on opportunities.
Wow. And so Malika is being a little shy to me because she also forgot to mention that she probably was the first pimp out here in these streets, right? You had your PMP long before most people thought about it. And she is very focused, very driven. Was one of the best project managers that I had ever seen before. And I remember walking past her desk sometimes. We used to work together at the city of Atlanta. And head down, and she was just getting it done. So thank you for being that inspiration.
Absolutely.
The little black girls out here in the world, for real.
I remember as well, and you had some very key questions. You always was into learning and doing things better. And to see this, it just blesses my spirit. So congratulations to you, Ty.
Well, thank you.
I'm one of your biggest supporters.
Oh, yes. Yeah. And you are, and you have been, and I appreciate it. So definitely wonderful to have you here. So let's talk about leadership, right? What does leadership mean to you?
One of the things I want to say about leadership, and I want to give an example around this to really bring it home. I feel leadership is about serving others. Just keeping it real simple. We all got different definitions, and it can get complicated, but it's about serving others. And I'm going to use this example because I travel quite a bit in the work that I do. And whenever I look for my seats, I always try to get the exit row because it has the most space for my legs. And I want to be comfortable for the flight. And before the flight takes off, as you all know, in the emergency exit, they come and ask you, if in event we have an emergency, can you assist others before yourself?
Yeah.
And if you do not answer yes, you have to give up that seat. But if you do answer yes, you get to keep that seat. And you are one of the biggest leaders on that plane because guess what? If an accident was to happen, if an emergency was to happen, you have to help others off that plane.
Yes.
And that is what leadership is. And you know what? I don't think about it like that, but in an emergency, that's exactly what I would do naturally.
Yeah.
I'm helping others before I help myself.
Right.
And so that's leadership for me.
Yeah, that's big. I know servant leadership a few years back was kind of becoming this buzzword, and I felt like it was losing meaning. But I still will put you in that category, right? Because it's all about helping everybody, making sure that everyone gets ahead.
Right.
And I feel like that has always been you. Like you have always pushed people forward and, like you said, connected others and all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
So,
yeah. My prayer is always not bless me, but Lord, make me a blessing.
Oh.
And that's what that is.
Yeah.
Helping others and serving others. But I'm definitely a big one on empowerment and servant leadership.
Yes. Oh, that empowerment is so big. So over time, how have you adapted your leadership style based on lessons learned?
I'm going to say this. I have been given some really, really big, highly visible projects over my career span. And this was just one particular one that had a lot of turnover that I got hired for. And the project managers and the actual teams turned over because, you know, when you don't treat people right or they feel overwhelmed, overworked, and it's not appreciated, you know what that morale looks like.
Yes.
So I was celebrated for making it to 3 months. Then I was celebrated for making it to 5 months. And then I was celebrated for making it to 8 months. And then everything started looking green that has been red and yellow. So this is kind of what I do, right? Turn things around.
Yep.
The morale on the team, I really was able to build that. But here's the factor that happened for me. New leadership came in because there was a company merger.
Okay.
They didn't know me. They didn't know my leadership style and the way I worked. So they came in making decisions, and it ended up being contractual decisions. Those contractual decisions was very different than what I signed up for. And though I had the leadership standing by my side, they're also worried about their jobs, right? So I had to end up standing my ground for a decision, a change they wanted to make in the contract that was not feasible to me. And though the end result was favorable, the end result for me was shingles because I stood my ground so much in supporting my team and supporting myself. It impacted my health, and I didn't even know I had it.
Wow.
And I know this is being real transparent, but it's real.
Yeah.
And so what came out of that, to answer your question, what came out of that is you can be dead and right, just like you can be alive and wrong. And so I put well-doing and well-being over everything else.
Yeah.
And I now ask that question, is it worth it?
Wow.
So in my managing team and adopting my leadership style, I'm always starting the day and paying attention and being very, very keen to how are you doing? Because if you're not well, you're not going to do well in my company and what I'm doing and what I need you to do. Yeah. So that helped me to be very careful and really, truly understand and work with my team and lead by wellness, well-being, and well-doing.
Okay.
From that situation.
Yeah.
So everything is not worth it.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, transparency is key. So when my team comes to me, I have an open policy. They're transparent about what they need help with. It's part of a team. And we work together to get the help that they need, you know, versus, so, you know, okay, I'm scared to do it because I know that's the boss and I don't want to get things wrong. So well-being leads in my company. That's our culture.
Okay. So, and I heard you say a couple of different things. So when it comes to the well-being of your team, like how do you make sure that happens?
So in terms of the well-being on my team, I believe in having relationship and being relatable. That's very, very key. Ding, ding. So when it comes to, when we start our day is, how are you doing? Like I have a team member who had a sudden death in the family. And we know how that impacts you, right? In that sudden death in the family, they're working late hours for me. Yeah. I'm not telling them to do this. I don't want them doing this. Right. But at the end of the day, I made sure that they were supported. Yeah. They were celebrated. I checked in. And I also was part of the family and being supported there. Because people, it's really important how you're a part of them and helping them. So that wellness. In addition, if I'm in a meeting, I'm very in tune to people because I'm a people first culture. In a meeting, I'm hearing something in your voice. It don't sound right. Yeah. I'm having a meeting about that. Yeah. What do I need to help you with? Would an hour help? Yeah. Would a half a day help? What is it that's needed? So you got to be that in tune. Yes. And you'll be surprised. Sometimes people break down crying. And then over and over again, thank you so much for that. Thank you for the support. Right. And so that's part of and that's just a little examples, but being really in tune is how you really help support people in being whole, right? Because if something's going on, they're going to bring it to the job. Yeah. Yes. You can't separate that. You take everything you know everywhere you go. Yes. You know, if you get cut and it's hurting, right, it's not going to stop hurting because you got to work 8 to 5. Right. You know what I mean? So I'm really, really in tune. So with me leading by culture
Yeah.
and setting the values, behaviors, and walking the talk
Yeah.
is really, really important. And my team appreciates it.
And I heard you say something about boosting morale, like on that team that you had to kind of come in and turn things around. But I mean, even in your own journey on your own teams now, I'm sure that the morale is like super lifted. It has to be. It has to be high.
It is because I have this concept, failing fast and recover faster.
Mm.
People like to hide behind the failures of something they can't do.
Yeah.
So you got to make that part of the process.
Yeah.
It's important for me that if it's something that they are weak in, to be honest, I focus on the strength.
Yes.
I know this opportunity because I work a lot of contracts. I really want to go after this opportunity, but they're not good in this type of writing. So I'm not going to stress you out and give you that assignment, right? I'm going to give it to the one I know is the strongest.
Right.
So you have to know the strengths because people operate really well when they feel good about what they do and they know that's their strength.
Yeah.
And then the other piece of that is I give feedback immediately.
Oh, okay.
I don't wait for status meetings, 360, all of that. Feedback happens as part of our daily culture.
Okay.
If it's an email that didn't have the right tone, this is how we're going to correct it.
Okay.
So and then, okay. So when you do it again, then, here's how I did it. Is this okay?
Okay.
But then you do it again.
Yeah.
There's a gap somewhere of you're not probably learning or moving too fast.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I have really helped with creating a balanced atmosphere because people are used to feedback and they're not afraid. Yeah, it's like it's happy. It's a happy thing.
Right.
It's
not a critique.
It's not a critique or everything I do is wrong.
Right.
It's positive feedback and doing this better. And then I do it in a very plain way. Like, now, wait a minute.
Yeah, and I was just about to ask you that. How do you give that feedback and make it something positive that people can digest and that they can come back and still work super hard for Malika and her company?
Tone is very important.
Okay.
Body language is important because when we're giving feedback, especially if I may just say, hey, can we hop on a Zoom really quick? Your camera's going to be on because I need to see me and I need to see you because emotion is very important in how I'm conveying, how you respond. And the words you use is so important because that's what caused people to freeze up. You might didn't mean it that way, but you're in the middle of, a fire and you're responding in a way that immediately cause people to go to a defensive. So me, when I'm actually giving, feedback or saying something needs to change, I make sure that you already know my character. Let me just stop there. So if I'm actually coming to you and I'm being maybe a little aggressive, that's not Malika or she's serious and I need to get this done for her.
Right.
So your character is important. Yes. So let's just start there.
The foundation of who you are.
So character is really, really important. So I already got grace there.
Okay.
Because of my character. So when I'm coming to you with it, I'm coming to positive words. Okay. Like, you did this part right. Here's the part we need to work on. Okay. So, and then this is the change really that's needed. Is that clear? What questions do you have before you go and make that change? That way we're clear. Right. Or what questions do you have for me to make sure, you understand it? So I want to make sure you have everything you need so that this does not happen again. Right. So it's the way you ask the question. It's the way you give the feedback to make sure it's not repeated. Does that make sense?
It does.
But character. If you're already somebody that
So, and that's what I kind of liken that to adaptive leadership, right? So at our core, and I always say this, at our core, we have a leadership style. So I totally am a servant leader as well, but based on the situation, based on the environment, I may have to pivot and I may have to adapt a little bit. And like you said, I may have to give that little feedback, raise my voice a little bit, but at the end, when the day is over, you still know that it's tied at the core and that at that moment it was serious and it needed to be given out in a certain way. Right.
You're absolutely correct. Now, at the same time, it's important that your standards stay high.
Okay.
Right. And that's one thing that I'm very clear about. So it may seem like, oh, you're nitpicking. No, that's my standard. I have a high standard, and it's not nitpicking. Because if I start settling, then so will you.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to always see this as a high standard, high performing team. And that's going to require you to operate at that high level and speak this way, do it this way. And I don't change I don't want to change you and how you do things. I want you to bring out your innovative way. Ooh. Because I want people on my team who will take me where I haven't been, not keep me where I am.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
And that's very different. And to do that, you got to give them the space to lead.
Yeah.
Give them the space to make decisions.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's important. So the serious side of me is like, okay, this happened 3 times. And so with it being a third meeting, we need to do something differently because what we've done is not working. So help me understand. What do you think happened here?
Yeah.
Okay. And how do you, what needs to happen so it doesn't happen again? What support you need? You know, those type of things. You got to, at some point, it comes to that point where
you can't take it anymore. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's why you hire slow, fire fast.
Okay. Yeah. Well, give me a little bit more on that one.
When you're bringing, it's a lot of energy and time, you all know, to find the right fit. That is why culture fit is so important.
Yeah.
Your values, your behaviors, your beliefs. And when you are meeting with people, interviewing people, talking with people, I like to make it very conversational because when it feels like an interview, it feels like a test.
Yeah.
So if while you're talking and you're conversating, they're showing you something right there.
Right.
Right. And how they respond and type of questions you ask, behavior questions. If it's not a good feeling, you got to let it go. Okay. And it may seem like, man, I've been doing this for 3 weeks. I had 5 people. I feel like I'm pressured to hire somebody because at this point I'm kind of tired.
Yeah.
Do not settle. So the process feels slow in the beginning, but you want to get the right fit.
Okay.
And I have not got it right all the time.
Yeah.
But that process where I say hire slow, because it's a process to getting the right person. I know when you make a decision in a hasty way, the result, it also benefits there.
Right.
But at the end of the day, when you do make that decision, when you hire slow and you make this decision and the person end up not working out and you seeing some things that go against, the culture or go against what you believe or go against what you will tolerate, you got to release fast.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times what's really hard for me is letting go. That's one of the things that was a challenge for me in my career, saying no and letting go.
Okay.
I was challenged with that. Okay. And now I think I kind of got it.
Okay. It sounds
I think
like it. Yes.
I think I got it. If it's not a fit, that's a conversation. We're both adults.
Right.
We're both professionals.
Right.
And if it's not a fit, there's a conversation that sounds, it's not hiding or, no, let's talk about it. I'm very transparent, and transparency is key. So, hey, let's take this 30 days and let's do a different kind of process.
Right.
And you have the support you need to exit.
Wow. I love it. You've said a whole lot, like trusting your gut as a leader and not holding on to the wrong things, because I know that I have a I hate firing people. It's like, oh my God, but I guess you're right, because at the end of the day, it can and will affect your bottom line.
Right. You suffer from it.
Yeah.
When you have the wrong people on your team, right? Your standards should not be compromised. Your values should not be compromised. And the high quality that you said, look what her stand for. Right. Right?
Right.
That should not be compromised. Yes. So when you have somebody on a team that don't align to that, that is the right thing to do. But it's hard because we always, the empathy in us, I don't want to hurt somebody feeling, or I don't want, you know what I mean?
Affect their household or something
like
that.
Right, exactly. But it's business, and the more they in the wrong position, the more it hurts them. Right? Well-being and well-doing.
Yes.
That's what I lead by.
Yeah.
And it's not well-being and well-doing if the person's not in the right position.
Right. Right seat on the bus.
Right.
And it's holistic.
Right.
It's a holistic approach.
Right.
I agree. So, and you are an entrepreneur, and I think how long have you been on the entrepreneurial journey at this point?
February 2010.
Okay, that's I didn't even realize. I didn't realize
I started in
that
2010.
Long. Wow.
Yes.
Okay, so I know a lot of times when people become entrepreneurs, they feel like, oh, I'm working for myself. I don't have to report to anybody. What advice do you give to entrepreneurs, to business owners, about managing stakeholder expectations? Because that's not true. It's always somebody you're reporting to.
Yes. you're a business owner and you're in business because you have a product or service
Yes.
that people need.
Yeah.
And they pay for that.
Mm-hmm.
They immediately become your client,
Yeah.
your customer, and they're your stakeholder.
Right.
Right. So at the end of the day, before you can manage expectations, you got to set them.
Oh.
That's where you have to start at setting them. And one thing about it, you have to see yourself as a stakeholder. You have to see yourself in their shoes, because a lot of times when we think about stakeholders, we think about that being tied to just a job.
Mm-hmm.
People who sit and sign the papers for the budget.
Yeah.
But with the contracts that I manage, the different agencies that I support, all of those are my stakeholders.
Yeah.
And the way I set the expectation is through proactive communication.
Okay.
That is the number one thing when it comes down to stakeholders, because they have a stake in your business, right?
Mm-hmm.
They can be a part of you making it or not.
Yes.
So a lot of times when there's a misunderstanding, there's disgruntlement, there's rumors, it's because of a lack of communication.
And pop quiz before we go any further. How much of our job as project managers, like what's the percentage that we have to communicate with our stakeholders?
It better be 100%. I'll let you go if you say 90, but we know
it's all the time. Yes,
you will never get away out of that.
Yeah.
You have to communicate.
Yeah.
And I'll just give just a quick example. I don't know. Recently, if you guys remember was it the bridge in
Maryland? Francis Scott Key Bridge.
Right. I have clients out there. I have customers out there. I have accounts, different ones, and neighboring cities and states that crosses that bridge.
Yeah.
Right. So guess what? I have product that is going to different locations.
Yes.
Right. My stakeholders, right? They're invested in this.
Mm-hmm.
So well-being and well-doing. I'm contacting my stakeholders, right?
Yeah.
Because part of my culture is a people-first culture. Any of your people's on that bridge.
Right.
Your family.
Right.
How's everybody doing?
Wow.
Leading with well-being and
right.
well-doing. Now, here is the impact. Because of that, we're going to be delayed more than likely this week.
Right.
Based on different routes that may have to take place.
Yeah.
We're investigating. And we'll keep you updated. But you see how that proactive?
Yes.
Instead of whenever a customer has to come to me, a stakeholder come to me with a question or problem, I look at it as being too late. I should have came to them with it.
Wow.
That's what proactive is about. Being able to kind of going into that risk thing, being able to communicate.
That's the next question.
Ahead. That way, and if you think about it, if you like, well, wait a minute. They said they was going to do this or provide this, and I haven't had an email. This was followed by Wednesday.
Yeah.
You're already dwindling about what you feel about their communication, their timeliness, their quality.
Right.
But what if it's Tuesday? I'm supposed to tell you about Wednesday, and I'm letting you know, hey, I'm still working on that.
Yeah.
So I may be delayed. So give me to the end of the week.
Right.
See how you set expectations? By proactive communication.
Right.
So
I love it. I love it. So yes, definitely the next question was about risk management and how, with that great example that you just gave, like what did your risk management look like in your head on paper? What did you do?
A bridge collapsing, we can all automatically know the risk there is.
Right.
The delays.
Yes.
Reroutes.
Right.
I'm talking about for your whole account.
Right.
Right. What does that look like for supplies and processing? So do we account for a bridge collapsing? No, but that's how risks go. It's every day.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So in this case, in managing that risk, this is what I took. And that's why I said proactive communication go hand in hand with risk.
Yes.
Letting them know in the event that it's going to impact our route, this is the contingency.
There
right?
you go.
So where are I going now? Mitigation.
Right.
Right? Risk mitigation.
Right.
We know there's going to be issues. If people don't fault you for issues, it's how you resolve them, how timely you resolve them.
Yes.
And how well you communicate when you resolve them.
Yes. And
That's
as long
what
as your
it's about.
quality isn't impacted.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Exactly. I know I keep saying communication, project managers and those out there, entrepreneurs, you're never going to be able to escape communication.
Not at all.
So that's why I'm saying you're putting yourself in the shoe of the stakeholder, because you are one too.
Yes.
You would want somebody to communicate to you, because
Right.
guess what? You might be waiting on a communication from your team
Right.
to communicate to someone else.
Right.
So look at your stakeholder role that you play, right? So communication is is very, very key. But the key is proactive communication and management of risk.
Yes, and that's what project management is all about. We try
Yeah.
not to be reactive, but
Right,
be very proactive in everything that we do. I love it. I love it. So, as an entrepreneur, what is the first tool that you pull from your project management toolkit as you are, getting ready to either go after a proposal or after you are awarded a contract? What's the first tool that you use?
Listen, it is so important that you understand the requirements.
Ooh, yes. And she was also a business analyst, one of the best.
Requirements will save you time.
I agree.
When you do not understand your requirement, it will be the wrong solution.
Yes.
Period.
Oh my
It will be the wrong solution. No matter how well you are, how good of a project manager you are, that's what it's about, the requirement. And that toolkit and understanding requirement helps me then answer other questions. Who is my who? Right?
Yep.
Because in this type of requirement, I may need this type of resource or this type of system or this type of reporting tool.
Yes.
So it starts building everything else out,
Yep.
right? Just by understanding the requirement.
Yeah.
And contracts is what you managing to is the requirement.
Right. Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
If I have a requirement to go and provide hangers and I go in and provide containers, I know it may rhyme, but that's not what they asked for. We're going to look for a termination.
Right.
So it's really important that you understand the requirement, and that's where I start and will always start, because the next question would be then, is it worth it? If I'm going after opportunity and the requirements is not something that aligns, to my objectives, may not be the right type of team I currently have and the type of team I need to get it.
Right.
I don't have enough time.
Yeah.
Those type of things, you have to be able to let go. You have to be able to say no, because there is another opportunity coming.
So I think that is such a huge piece of advice as an entrepreneur, because I think a lot of times you can, I'm not going to say every entrepreneur does, but you can operate in a mindset of like scarcity. And that if you say no to an opportunity, like another one might not come along. But I think what you just said.
Yeah. That's one of the hardest things, to say no to a good opportunity.
Yeah. Yes.
But it's
Yeah.
the good things. Too many of the good things bog us down versus the right things.
Ooh.
So there's a difference.
Yes, a total difference. I love it. So what advice would you offer to aspiring entrepreneurs, right, based on your successes and failures?
It's funny that you asked that question, because I love acronyms, because it just kind of helps with keeping it short and to the point. And this was recent with one of the messages from church. But don't make decisions when you are dealing with these 4 things.
Okay.
And it's called HALT. So halt before you make a decision, HALT.
Okay.
When you're hungry,
Ooh.
angry, lonely,
Mm.
or tired.
Okay.
That is a key advice, because decisions that I have made that set me back has been one of these. And tired definitely being one of them, because tired means you're tired of waiting, or you're tired of, trying to figure it out, or, you're tired of not having the right thing. And so you make a decision haphazardly or prematurely. Hungry puts your mind in a certain place. So it's kind of like,
scared.
right.
Being scared.
Yeah, it's like, this is not the right time. And so being hungry makes you make a quick decision, right? Because your mind is on fulfilling something that's, like you said, scares. I need to eat. And angry. We already know when you angry and make a decision, it's going to be off of emotion,
Right.
and not off reason.
Right.
So that's just I think one of the bigger things too. And then lonely is a place where you feel discouraged. And so you make it out of a different type of emotional decision.
Yeah.
The other advice I just want to give is, I call it the 3D, because I overdosed on this in my career. And it's delegation, decisions, and downtime. The delegation is the piece that we struggle with, because people are not going to do it like us. And they're not doing it at all, or they're not doing it right. So we take it on, and it just piles. And I know we've heard of that whole cliche that the straw that broke the camel's back. That's what delegation do to us. And it takes away our quality of life and the freedom, right? Decisions. Making a decision is so important. And when you think about going to dinner, and you're hungry, you got to figure out, do I want Italian today? Do I want American? Do I want Thai, which is my favorite? I always choose that. And at the end of the when you make a decision, it removes all of the options and you move on. I said Thai, all the other options off the table and move on.
Okay.
When you harper on what it is, all these different options, it starts bogging you down and slow down the process. And adds to your plate. And then the last one is downtime. Because we got so much going on, we don't delegate, we haven't made a decision, so everything just all these options that we have on our plate figured out, then the downtime impacts our self-care. And being able to regroup, you know what I'm saying, refresh. And those are the three things that really have caused me to be overworked, burnt out in my career.
Okay.
So I've learned how to do those 3Ds better.
Okay. I
to
like
delegate,
it.
make decisions on the right thing, and to have downtime.
Yeah. So, and I know our time is winding up, but let's talk about delegation, because I have a hard time with it, because it's like you said, no one can do it quite like me. But as a leader, in my mind, like, I shouldn't want anybody to do it the way that I'm doing. I should want them to do it their way.
Right.
So what's your trick to delegating?
So as the CEO of your company, right, we all know we should be working on our company and not in the company. But we find ourselves doing both, right?
Yes.
At the end of the day, as a CEO, you have that leadership role. And I want you to think about, my daughter plays basketball. Only 5 people can be on that court at a time.
Yes.
And I don't care how bad a player can be doing it. A coach cannot sub themselves in the game. They have to sub another player, even if that other player is sub par. You cannot sub yourself in the game and be the coach. And that's what we do when we don't delegate. We're actually playing in the basketball game that we're supposed to be coaching.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good one. Oh.
Right?
Yes.
And then we confuse the roles.
Yeah.
And then we end up going to you, because I know you're going to do it.
Right.
Because it's not done timely, it's not done right, and it's taking too long. So every time you sub yourself in the game, they start seeing you as the player.
Right. Yes.
So the delegation piece got to start with mindset and staying in your position of leading.
Okay.
And making sure that, okay, this particular task goes to this person, and I need to better set expectations around delivery and timeline and what support they need and the people they go to for it. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So again, you don't dwindle or drop your standards.
Yeah.
Right? You got to stay in your leadership position.
Right.
And every time you struggle with delegation, look at yourself as being now the coach in the game.
I like that one. That's
no one
a good
is sitting
one.
on the sidelines coaching the other 4.
Right. No, that's
you're hurting the team.
Yes, and I played basketball. It's been a long time, but yes, everybody had, and it takes me back to the mindset of everybody has their role to play on the team. You know, I was a center. I didn't play forward. I was not a shooting guard. You know, that's not what I did. I played defense. Like, I was down low.
That's basketball talk.
Yeah. So yeah, I love it. I love it.
Right. And at the end of the day, guess what the result is? Because that player or those players played so bad, you lost the game.
Yeah.
That's what we're afraid of. We may lose, or we're afraid of that part. That's why you're taking it on, because you want to get it right and keep it right.
Right.
There's a responsibility for that, but you lose the game.
Right.
And when you lose the game, you go into that room in that corner, and that coach go in.
Yeah.
But here's our plan. So if we got to play that team again, this is what we're going to do differently.
Yeah.
Watch the gameplay and go in and execute with this approach.
Learn those lessons.
Right. But we keep taking it and can't learn from that.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. Lessons learned on the way out. All right, Malika. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I have enjoyed our time here
Same
together. Oh
here.
my God, we could talk forever, but we're gonna roll out of here. So tell everyone how they can reach you on social media.
Ah, um, so really, LinkedIn is one of the main pieces where I am. It's more of the professional network. So my LinkedIn is probably better. Look me up at Malika Humphries. And also my website, emergingcs.com is a good place to go. And hey, I'm a strategist by heart, a win strategist at that. So I have a calendar with 15 minutes, and feel free to hop on and let's have a strategy conversation.
Probably be the best 15 minutes of your life. So take advantage of it. All right, Malika, before we get out of here, I need you to do one thing for me. Because,
Okay.
again, you were the original pimp. I need you to pop your collar.
Ah!
Yes, lessons learned from a
Yes.
pimp. All right, y'all. You can follow us on LinkedIn. I'm the
Yes.
same way at Her PM. And remember, always remember, embrace every lesson learned, right? Because they are the building blocks to our success.
Yes.
Take care.